Bom dia, galera! Sejam bem-vindos e bem-vindas ao curso 5 Elementos da Cultura Hip Hop. Esse curso de oficinas é uma realização da Associação Cultura de Hip Hop de Esteio, em parceria com o Instituto Federal Sul-rio-grandense e FSU, campus Sapucaia. Meu nome é JJ Wantep e sou profissional de dança.
You only got 2 kids, can you just keep it in 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no rooms? It just don't make sense to me.
All of us, one by one. 1, 2, 3, kick it.
Production. Production. Since its resurgence into the modern dance world in 2003, via dance legend Brian Green, whacking has quickly become a cult classic for dancers and disco enthusiasts all over the world. And thanks to YouTube and efforts of individuals like myself, it has become one of the fastest spreading dance styles since the explosion of b-boying in the 80s. Now, there have been some very misleading and interesting whacking tutorials online. So I figured you out there in cyber world would love to get your hands on some juicy facts from a viable source. Don't worry about it, I got you. My name is Kumari Siraj, whacking choreographer for So You Think You Can Dance, CEO and founder of LA's International Whack Punk Pose Festival, The Whackers, and global ambassador and go-to girl for this style. Everybody wants to know, what is whacking? Well, I am here to tell you. Whacking started in the 70s in Los Angeles in the gay club scene. Now, to understand the dance and its intention, you have to understand the social stigmas of the 70s. It was not okay to be gay. Men and women of this era had to sometimes limit or hide who they were in society. But when they went to the club, that's where they let loose. That's where they felt their freedom. That's where they could be themselves. Poor gay kids from the ghettos of Los Angeles created punking as an expression from oppression. Emotionally and psychologically fighting the marginalization of society, they used dance as a form of storytelling to express their creativity. The main DJ at the gay club Gino's was DJ Michelangelo, who coined the name punk or punking as an inside joke amongst the gay dancers. Punk was a derogatory term for gay men, so the original punks or dancers of the time turned a negative into a positive and punked the music.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous, I'm falling.
Punking is the action. Whacking is the reaction. Chicken before the egg, that kind of thing.
Punking was acting. When you punk, you become the movie. Your character does the storytelling. So it makes perfect sense why the golden era of Hollywood was a major influence on the original punks. Silent films, musicals, features, Monroe, Astaire, Garbo, Dietrich, Harlow, Rudolph Valentino, Norma Desmond, Charlie Chaplin, Fay Wray and King Kong, Looney Tunes cartoons, Bugs Bunny, Bruce Lee films, and even lightsabers from Star Wars. All of these things influenced the movement of the original punks. And of course you have the Batman and Robin television series of the 1960s, which is where you saw the onomatopoeias for the fight scenes of pow, punch, bang, crash, whack. Batman and Robin is where you get the name for the movement, whack, which if you look it up, W-H-A-C-K, in the dictionary means to strike with force. But whack was a verb, whack was an action. It wasn't the name of the entire style that the punks were doing, it was just one movement. When the heterosexual dance community began to fall in love with the dance and its culture, they did not want to associate with the homosexual term of punk or punking. So they began calling the dance by other terms. They called it whackin', with W-A-A-C-K-I-N. They called it the Cagney, after Hollywood dancer James Cagney. Or they called the dance the Shabadoo, after the first straight male whacker to learn the dance from the original punks. He was a locker, so he brought a locking perspective to punking and whacking. No, this is not the gay locking. Whacking with a double A was used by Shabadoo to disassociate the word from its original spelling with an H that had a negative connotation, like the sexual innuendo of whacking off or to whack somebody to kill them. As retold by Tyrone Proctor, it was Jeffrey Daniels that added the G to the end of the name, giving it the W-A-A-C-K-I-N-G, which is the spelling that is recognized by the dance community today. Original punks Arthur, Tinker, and Andrew were dancers on Soul Train, which was a nationally syndicated television show. The reason why dancers all over the country were exposed to punking and whacking. Soul Train dancer Tyrone Proctor moved to New York City and joined a group called Breed of Motion with legendary whacker Voguer Archie Burnett and legendary Voguer Willie Ninja. Members of this group had a huge impact on the whacking scene of New York City as well as Japan. The influence of Breed of Motion was the main reason why whacking and Vogue began to resemble each other.
Hundreds of thousands of gay men and lesbian women today marched for homosexual rights. Some 200,000 people marched in San Francisco. Across the nation, the parades were dedicated to victims of the deadly disease AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. 70% of its victims are gay men.
While the theme of this parade has always been gay liberation and gay pride, the emphasis this year was an appeal for funding to help stop the spread of the AIDS disease.
The AIDS epidemic of the 1980s devastated the punking community. All original punks passed away from AIDS or were murdered, leaving Victor Manuel as the only living original punk. During the 1980s and 1990s, punking faded from the public eye, leaving only traces of whacking in the New York City and Los Angeles club scene, peppered with minor guest appearances in film and television. Professional dancer Brian Footwork Green recognized the lack of information in the community regarding whacking. He recognized the need for original whacking elders to start teaching in New York City. When they turned down his suggestion, Brian decided to teach whacking to provoke the elders to step up and teach again. Brian was the catalyst for the resurgence of this entire culture. Brian Green began teaching at Broadway Dance Center in 2003, exposing the movement of whacking to myself and many other dancers of my generation. We are the generation that have turned whacking into what you see today. Also, you have to remember that whacking does not have a gender. If you're a woman and you feel masculine, go with it. If you're a man and you feel feminine, go with it. If you feel like a unicorn, even better. Doesn't matter. It's what you feel in the moment that you bring to the dance in that moment. You have to be honest with who you are and what you want to deliver and the story that you want to tell. That's also a big part of whacking. Just be free and let go. This dance is about being an individual. It's about self-expression. It's about freedom. It's about release. It's about telling a story, and it's about a whole lot of drama. So, that being said, that is whacking. And tweet me your video so I can help you guys grow or give you some advice, or even send your videos out and repost them so other people can see them and you get more views. Just hit me up and let's get started.
Curtam os vídeos, compartilhem, comentem. E logo mais, às 18 horas, vamos fazer uma videochamada pelo Meeting, pelo link que vocês receberam quando fizeram a inscrição de vocês nas oficinas. E nós vamos estar sempre abordando o tema dessa aula, que é de 15 minutos. E a gente vai ter possibilidade de prolongar mais isso, de conversar mais a fundo sobre esse tema, ok? Se cuidem, não esqueçam de sempre tomar todos os cuidados devidos quando vocês saírem, utilizem máscara, evitem de ficar em aglomeramento com muitas pessoas, procurem higienizar sempre as mãos, tome muita água e é isso aí, se falamos até mais tarde. Paz.